Hi guys, in this video we're going to use the laws of exponents to simplify expressions that include rational exponents. So let's take a look at the questions in example 11. In part A, they wanted you to multiply a to the 1/3 times a to the 7/3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the laws of exponents that says if they have the same base, I need to add the exponents. So 1/3 plus 7/3 is 8/3. So I'm going to keep the base and my exponent is going to be 8/3. So anytime you're multiplying variables that have the same base, you add the exponents. In part B, there are actually two operations I need to do. Right here, this is multiplication, so I should add those exponents, and then this is division, so I have to subtract this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my variable a. I'm going to add these two. So I have 2/5 plus 7/5. And then I have to subtract out this one because it's in the denominator. So minus 3/5. And if I simplify this, 2 plus 7 is 9. And 9 minus 3 is 6. So this is a to the 6/5. And just as a side note, all of these can be left in this form unless they specifically say to change it back into a root. Okay, then you'd have to change it. In part C, they wanted you to simplify this. So I'm going to use the law of exponents that says when you have a product raised to a power, you distribute that power to everything in the product. So I'm going to distribute the 3/2 to all of these things. And those exponents just get multiplied by 3/2. So I end up with 2 to the 3/2. Okay, a to the 3 times 3/2, which happens to be 9/2. And b to the 4 times 3/2, or b to the 12/2. Now, that 12 over 2 can be reduced to 6. So I'm going to do that. And if I wanted to, I could simplify this. There's not a lot I can do, but I can change this into 2 times the square root of 2. And sometimes we would do that with the numbers, even though the variables are not getting changed. Because the numbers we can simplify a little bit. The variables, if I do the 5th root of a, well, that really doesn't do anything for me. Or the square root of a, it really doesn't do anything, but I can simplify those numbers. So a lot of times we'll simplify the numbers, but not the variables. Now for our last part of this example, right here, I have this. So I'm going to distribute the power here on this first fraction to all of these exponents in here. So 2 cubed is 8. X to the 3/4 times 3 is x to the 9/4. And then y to the 1/3 times 3. 1/3 times 3 is just 1. Okay, so I have this, and that's a 9 right there. I wrote a very bad 9. Okay, now my other fraction, this negative exponent means this thing gets moved to the top. So it's y to the 4th times x to the 1/2 there, all over 1. Now I can use my fraction multiplication. There is nothing that is like to this 8, so it can't reduce, it can't multiply by anything, so I'm just going to keep the 8 here. X to the 9/4 times x to the 1/2. I have to add those fractions, and I need common denominators. 1/2 is 2/4. So I can just do 9 plus 2 is 11. So this is x to the 11/4. Now my y's can reduce. This is y to the 4th over y to the 1st. So I would subtract those exponents to get y to the 3rd. So it becomes 8 to the 11/4. Sorry, 8 times x to the 11/4 times y to the 3/4. And that's it for this example. Let me know if you have any questions or if you need help with anything on this.